Hi traders, this is Cynthia of Day Trade Forex bringing you a new video of my new MT4 color-coded trading system that I call the Simple Neon Breakout. This trading system uses normal candles instead of my trending smoothed candles that I've used in my other color-coded trading systems. And the normal candle makes it easier to see retracements and re-entries, and this trading system specializes in retracement trading. It uses a Donchian channel which expands during volatility and contracts during range, and you can kind of see it here how the range is wider, and then as we go into consolidation the range is more narrow. It gives you a little arrow when the price touches the top of the Donchian resistance and a little aqua arrow when it touches the bottom of the Donchian support channel. This gives you an alert telling you that the bottom or the top has been reached, and then usually a couple of candles later you'll have the entry arrow for trading the new trend. And here you can see the green arrow for entry, and here's the red entry arrow, and you do get a pop-up alert on your chart. And then you can see the trend is very smooth. We use 3 trend lines in this trading system. One is a very fast trend line. This is the magenta trend line with the dots, and the dots represent a new place for you to move your stop. This is a daily chart, so every day you would just check and move your stop to where the dot is for that day, and it'll follow, and the price will eventually stop you out at some point. You don't even have to be at your computer. And then every time there's a green candle, for instance, in this downtrend, that represents a pullback, and the next day represents a potential re-entry. So you have pullback, re-entry, pullback, re-entry, until finally all of the colors change and you have a mix of colors. The medium trend line is this one right here, and it changes a little slower than the fast trend line, so that's a warning that the trend might change. But then we have the slower trend line, which is this long sloped red trend line, which is very slow, and we don't ever trade against the slow trend line. So it's been red all the way down, and we would only be taking sell trades until at this point when all of the 3 trend lines converge and get squished together and turn green, and then with the green entry arrow that gives us our new trend direction which we can act upon. The bottom window is my volatility window. I always have a special volatility indicator. For this trading system I'm using a very special MACD indicator, and it has very special settings, and not only does it show you the trend, it shows you momentum. It gives you a very clear way to see on your chart when to enter and when to exit. So in the top window we would have been looking at this as an entry to sell, and if you let your eye come down here you can see this volatility bar is very long and has crossed below this red 0 line, and you can see right here that the line is 0. So this is your sell signal line right here when the yellow line crosses the red 0 line, and you also get a red volatility bar that is crossed below the red 0 line. So that's a very simple way to see entry, selling, short, and the long volatility bars show an increase in volatility, and when the yellow line shrinks back up and the volatility bar changes color, that's showing you a reversal of momentum. And in the green candle you can see this is actually a retracement, and then the next day the trend resumes. We stay in the long sell trade because the long slow red line never changes color. And so here would have been your reentry. All of these volatility bars are below the red zero line, so you know as long as they stay below the red zero line, you're going to only be taking sell trades. In this instance, the volatility bars pulled back up very close and very short up against the red zero line. This is where I would take partial profit of any reentries I had made to this point, because when the momentum slows down, that means that you just may as well take some profit and then just wait to see what happens the next day. And in this case, you had another reentry going short. 2 days later, the volatility bar turned green again, and the yellow signal line crossed above the red zero line. That is your signal to exit all positions. So however many positions you were in, even if you had taken partial profit here, you would still have open positions, and this is the exit point for all of your positions. Then you can see we go into a retracement again. The colors are mixed. You do not buy long even though the yellow signal line is crossed above the red zero line and the volatility bars are green. You would not buy because you have some mixed colors here. You're still underneath the long slow red trend line, and so that keeps you from buying, which is a good thing because the price didn't go very far. But then this would have been your next sell entry because the price resumed back in the original down direction. So this would have been your entry, and here's a pullback, and you could have taken partial or total profit at this point, but then you have another sell re-entry here. But you can see that the volatility bars are very small at this point and not long like this, so it means that momentum is drying up. Even though you have several more days of a downtrend, at this point when the yellow signal line crosses this red zero line, that's where you would close all of your sell positions and just wait, because then we go into a consolidation where all of the colors are mixed. Even though the volatility bars are strong, they're very long bars and they're above the zero line, we don't have a clear entry for buy until the green arrow appears. All of the trend lines have turned green, and of course the volatility bars is very strong and green and above the zero line, so this would have been your entry to go long. Here's a Euro Aussie dollar daily chart. You can see here's a buy entry, here's a sell entry, and the long downtrend, you can play the retracements all of the way down and it keeps you out of buy trades until here when you get your signal to completely close all of the trades. Here you would have done the same thing, but then of course here you have another re-entry, so it just keeps you in the trend. It's really easy to see the trend and it's easy to stay in the trend. Then when you get mixed colors and the volatility bars cross above the red zero line, this is all consolidation and you just wait for your next entry. On this bar here, even though you get the green arrow and this fast and medium trend lines are green, you're still underneath this red slow trend line, so you would not take that buy trade. And now the price has gone completely flat. It's at the bottom. It was at the bottom of the Donchian channel, and normally we would buy at the bottom of the Donchian channel, especially if we get a green up arrow and the volatility bar is green and above the red zero line. But in this case, this long slow trend line kept us from buying, and it's probably a good thing because the price really didn't go anywhere and you still had some mixed colors. And now the price is very, very flat. This candle today is a doji candle, but look at in the bottom window, the volatility is shrinking. The yellow signal line is sloped down and the volatility bars are sloping down. So this shows you divergence, and that's the second aspect of this trading system. Not only does it show you clear trend using 3 trend lines, it shows you divergence and how you can use divergence to see it to stay out of a trade. So this is very easy to see that we're in consolidation, and there's no way I would consider buying long even though everything is green, because in the bottom volatility window divergence is showing up. Divergence means momentum is doing something completely opposite from the price action. In this case, the price action is flat and the divergence is headed down and the bars are red. So anytime you see divergence, and this system makes it really easy to spot the divergence, you'll very quickly learn how to spot divergence, and that keeps you out of trading. And you just go look at another chart. So let's look at the pound yen in the daily chart. Here you had a red arrow, but the long slow trend line was still green, so it kept you out of this whipsaw consolidation. And your first real entry was here, and the volatility bar was long and strong and below the red zero line. So you had a pullback, and the next day you had another re-entry. And here you can see the volatility bars sloped back up to the red zero line. This is where you would have exited all of your trades, all of your sell trades. And then we go into some consolidation where the colors are all mixed. Basically, the long red slope trend line tells you we're still in a downtrend, so you wouldn't be buying against that. Here you have a clear signal for selling short with the red arrow. Everything is pink and red, and the volatility window shows a wonderful strong volatility bar below the red zero line, and it keeps you in this trend until this is where you would exit when the yellow signal line crosses the red zero line. And you wouldn't have a buy signal at this point because the colors are mixed, but here on this candle everything turns green and you receive the green entry arrow with a pop-up alert, and you could have bought long here, but then the momentum very quickly dies off. So that's a little pullback, and here's another re-entry to the upside. And we don't know how strong this is going to be, but if you measure your Donchian channel range from here to here, that's 690 pips. We're right in the middle of the range, so even if you jump down to a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart to get a good entry, you're still 320 pips away from your potential target, which is the resistance of the Donchian channel. So the last chart we'll look at is the pound New Zealand. Another feature of this trading system is it gives you an indicator for the average daily range. Look at how this one really moves. It moves so much better than all the other pairs. Look at the long slow trend slope is red at this point. And right here you have the yellow signal line kissing the red zero line and just the hint of a red volatility bar. So I would keep my eye on this for the next couple of hours, or jump down to a 4-hour chart. You can see this was a perfect sell entry, and right about now that's about 100 pips if you had gotten out when this volatility bar turned green. And you can see the yellow volatility signal line is shrinking back to the zero line. That shows you momentum is slowing down. When the candle is turned green and the volatility bar is turned green and the momentum signal line is shrinking back to the zero line, just get out early. You could have bagged an easy 100 pips on this trade and been out for any possible retracement. Now we're waiting to see if the price is going to reverse and go to the upside, or this is just a short retracement and the price might continue to the downside. And you can also look at this in a 1-hour chart, and here you can see the beginning of this would have been your entry here. Everything is pink and red, perfect sell entry. This would have been the bottom. Anytime the little arrow shows up where the price hits the bottom or the top of the Donchian channel is your early reversal alert, and everything changes color here. So this would have been your signal, the yellow line crossing the zero line. So right here is where you get out. So even in a 1-hour chart, if you had entered here, this is your exit, 117 pips. However, you could have entered here and that's 137 pips. So trading in the 1 hour chart is really easy to do, and we can take a look at this in a 30-minute chart, because I like to trade in the 30-minute chart too. I start my trading day looking at all my favorite currency pairs in the daily chart, and then I can see, it's very easy at a glance to see what the trend is doing. It's either up, down, or flat. There's no other way to look at it. You just keep that in mind, and then you go down to the H4 chart, look for a buy or sell entry, and you can even refine your entry by going down to the 1 hour chart or the 30-minute chart. And here is the perfect sell entry, and it was not a lot of volatility in a 30-minute chart, but here's another sell entry after a pullback. Here's another sell entry after a pullback, and another sell entry after a pullback. And at this point, you just close all of your positions, because the trend, this is a forewarning early reversal alert, and everything goes flat and the colors are mixed. And at this point, we're just out of the trade. You would have been out of the trade at the most opportune time, which is right here. Actually right here, when the price hit the bottom of the Donchian channel and the yellow signal line is crossing above the red zero line. And let's look at a 15-minute chart trading this pair. You can see we've had the big downtrend and then the trend reversal, and all of this is just consolidation and waiting for the trend to take off in the uptrend. And here's your green candle, but you still have the red slope for the slow slope. So here everything changes color and becomes green, and your volatility bar is very strong above the red line, and that would have been your entry. And my exit would have been when the price hit the Donchian channel resistance and the little red arrow appeared, and you can see that the volatility is dropping off, the yellow signal line is sloping down, and on this candle the volatility bar has turned red. So I would have entered here and exited somewhere right around in there. It's anywhere between 40 and 50 pips. So in a 15-minute chart on the pound New Zealand, you can easily gain 50 pips usually if you catch the entry at the right place and you exit at the right place, and this trading system makes it really easy to do that. Now let's look at a 5-minute chart, because some people like to scalp. I like to scalp the pound New Zealand because it moves so well. I also like to scalp the pound yen. There aren't many other pairs that are easy to scalp, but these two pairs you can scalp. Now just looking at this would have been my sell signal, and here it hit the bottom of the Donchian support channel, so that would have been my early exit. And it's confirmed on the next candle. If you want to wait till the next candle and watch the volatility bar in the bottom window, it turned green, so that's 19 pips. Maybe you would have gotten 20 pips out of that total and been out of the trade, because you could see that the volatility bar has turned colors and the yellow signal line is sloped up. It's easy to see the entries and the exits. Between trading in the 5-minute chart all the way up to daily, the system has something for everybody, no matter how you like to trade. You just have to learn to read the signals. It's like learning how to drive. You have to learn what the signs mean, and then you have to obey the signs. That's all trading really is. And this trading system gives you very clear signs, very clear signals of when to enter and when to exit. And you'll be learning about divergence in the PDF with the training videos, and you'll be learning about trading retracements also. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this seems interesting to you, and please go ahead and purchase a copy. I know that you're going to be very happy with it. Thanks again for watching.